Today I'm going to teach you how to write metal like this. For this video I have written a song that's inspired by Swedish metal band Allt. They are known for their own brand of very explosive and rhythmic modern metal. Today I'm going to share with you 4 secrets to achieve this sound, ranging from both songwriting to production and mixing. The full song is available at the end of the video, but right now let's get into it. Here we are inside of the Cubase session. And straight away I'm going to share with you the first ingredient to an alt song, which is a rhythmic signature. The idea of a hook in any song is super important, something that ties the song together and catches the listener's attention. While you normally have melodic hooks in songs, alt has a kind of rhythmic hook, a rhythmic signature to each track. So to illustrate this, I have here laid out the rhythm that I'm using throughout the track, which goes like this. So this foundational rhythm is going on throughout the entirety of the track. This ties different parts together, so even if I have wildly different riffs, they will still feel interconnected. So here's an example from the opening riff where I'm following this rhythm mostly. And then also here is a completely different riff at a different part of the song, but I'm still following the rhythm, so it feels interconnected. And also here we got the chorus section. I'm sprinkling in some of this rhythm to also make it feel connected to the verses. So as you can hear, it's not super obvious that I'm following the rhythm, but it's sprinkled in throughout the track. This makes it feel much more cohesive, and you can get away with having wildly different riffs through a song and it will still feel like a cohesive song. Then you can also play with how you accent the different hits, which Allt is also using a lot in their songwriting. Accenting on a bit unexpected hits maybe will make it feel less stale, and is also an excellent way to bring some variation to your song. Moving on to the second ingredient for an alt song, which is really attention-grabbing production. So the first obvious example is that they like to use pad radio guitars a lot in their riffs, so something like this. This is like a really good way to catch your listener's attention when a new part comes in, having panned radio guitars like this. It's also a really good way to get some extra mileage out of your riffs. So the first variation is with a radio guitar, but the second one is with a real guitar tone that is played a bit higher up on the neck. So it's essentially the same part, but played differently. So this could easily feel quite boring if you just play the exact same thing twice, but just changing this small aspect from a radio guitar to a full guitar tone played a bit differently on the neck brings a lot of freshness to the part, makes it feel new and less repetitive, even though it's essentially the same thing twice. So here's another example of some attention-grabbing stuff in this section here, where I have programmed a bass slide. So this is like just popping out of nowhere. And just makes the part stand out a bit more. By the way, I'm using Jimbase 2 for this tone. If you're interested in grabbing it, I have a link to Submission Audio Store in the description below. On the production side, I have one final note, which is something that Allt uses a lot in their new single, The Orphan Breed, which is just a full-on onslaught of heaviness, essentially. And that is the use of complete silences, which makes parts hit so much harder. So here I'm going to play you a section from the breakdown, and I'm gonna play you first without the complete silences, and then I'm gonna add them back in, and you will hear the difference. Okay, so now I'm adding the silences. It just makes the downbeat punch so hard, and it's really what's making the part, in my opinion. Try using this in your own music, you will not regret it. And how I do this is simply that I'm automating the instrumental bus here from 0 all the way down to negative infinity. Just make sure that you, jog this a bit where you're putting the first part of the silence, because it can sound a bit rushed. If I'm putting it like immediately here on the beat, then it sounds like this. And I think it sounds a bit better when I delay it a little bit. I have an interview with the guitarist Victor from Allt, so if you're interested in listening to that, consider subscribing to the channel and liking this video. The third ingredient to writing an Allt song I have chosen to be ambience, and it's all of this extra stuff, the production stuff. I have this kind of droning clean guitar that is going on in the intro. And it's also just continuing here. This line on the clean guitar is also being altered slightly into the first verse, which is also a great way to just carry over a part to later in the song, but just changing it slightly. And here is an idea for the chorus that I'm using a lot, which is using essentially exactly the same melody from the intro, just with different chords underneath. So here you can listen. So it's exactly the same line as from the intro, but in the context of the chorus, it's completely changed because I'm having different chords and notes underneath it. Here I'm using the same tremolo effect as I'm using in my Icarus Lives cover, so if you're curious about that, you can check that video out. And also just some percussion here. I'm using Track Spacer here in the mix to duck the post-production whenever the vocals are present. So I'm sidechaining the vocal bus into the post-production, so all of this stuff. So when the vocals are playing here in the chorus, it's ducking it slightly so the vocals can poke through a bit easier. And this brings me onto the fourth ingredient to a song like this, which is a massive chorus. And of course, I'm gonna then talk about the vocals. So something that Allt have been incorporating lately into their songs is some clean parts in the chorus, but still keeping them very dirty sounding in order to still have this heavy feeling and not have the contrast be too high from the screamed verses into the melodic choruses. A good way to do this is to use vocoders for the clean vocals. So that's what I've done here. I can feel it coming. So this is dirtying up my clean vocals a lot and makes it sit next to the screams a lot better. So everything together sounds like this. I can feel it coming. There's no use running away, you're only flesh and bone. I can see it rising. With every breath that you take, you fucking self improve. So yeah, heavy stuff, but it's all about trying to meld the different parts together production-wise to not have them stand out too much, and using a vocoder like I'm doing here can be a great way to do that. And I'm now going to show you the settings that I've used for these clean vocals. I'm using Vocal Synth 2 by Isotope with these settings. Feel free to copy them if you like. I can feel it coming. I also have some pretty interesting whisper layers going on. And there I'm using also the vocal synth.
Self-imploding parasite, out of mind and out of sight.
I'm also here using the Little Altar Boy by Soundtoys on the more clean whisper layer, which is just adding so much fatness and interest to the sound.
Self-imploding parasite.
And then I'm adding the Altar Boy.
Self-imploding parasite.
It's just altering the formant, so it sounds really heavy and almost like a demon whispering. Sounds really awesome, I think. Those are the 4 ingredients that I've used to create this song. All of the mixed stems, the raw multi-tracks, and the MIDI is available to buy on my Patreon right now. So if you're interested in doing a deep dive and trying mixing this song for yourself, feel free to go over to my Patreon. All of my Patreon members get this package as included in my membership, or you can just buy it as a one-off thing. Self-Implosion is featuring the amazing vocalist Jacob Lowing. You can check out his page on Fiverr, linked below, if you want him to feature on your projects as well. Self-Implosion is available on my Spotify page, with the link also down below in the description. But now I'm gonna shut up and just play the song. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know in the comments, what did you think? Did you get anything out of this video that you're going to try to apply to your own music? I'd love to hear it. With no further ado, I give you Self-Implosion. Enjoy.